adjust this camera just so. A little different camera angle tonight. Is that okay? Thought y'all might want to try to see the cards also as opposed to my face. Hang on one second. Hopefully that'll work. Let's see. I think that'll work. Yay. All right. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I am. It's been a good day here in Alabama. And of course, most people in Alabama are watching the Alabama football game tonight. So here I am. I don't need to watch that. I'll get the highlights tomorrow, right? So, one second, let me pull this up over here. Hoping some people will show up, hoping the whole world is not at that football game and somebody will show up here in a minute. That will pop up here in just a second, I think. Let me be sure I've got my volume muted there. All right, guys, well, let's see. I always, well, not always, but I like to start out with shuffling and asking Tarot what our week's going to be like. So, thought I would do that, and then if people come, one second, let me get this queued up here shortly, then we can do some free readings. Why is that not? I don't know what's going on here. Come on. Yes, I know I'm live. I know. Well, no, let me click on it. All right. That hasn't been 6 minutes. No, it hasn't. Okay. This is so weird. It's not letting me click on it. I can't, this is not good. I can't see your comments. Okay. Well, while I'm waiting for y'all to get here, let me try this. Why does it have to be hard? Why does it have to be hard? All right, y'all, bear with me. This is not good if I can't see your comments. One second. Let me see if I can fix this. Just give me 1 second. I don't know why it's not showing up. Let me see. Here we go. So let me know where you're from as you log on here. I'm trying to get my my live to show up so I can talk to you guys, and I don't know why it's not letting me do that. So hopefully it is public, isn't it? All right, let's try go doing this. We'll go back. Okay, this is very strange, y'all. I'm going to have to figure this out. You see me clicking on the screen here. I can't. So I can't see your comments. I know you're talking. I can't do readings if I can't see your comments. It is public. Yes, this I know. Well, this has never happened. Okay. Let me go back. I think. Here we go. Ta-da! I think we got it. There I am. All right, great. Now that was scary. Okay. So we are, whoever's here, let me know. Raise your hand. Say hello. Blow me kisses. Whatever, whatever. I'll put that there where I can see it. Let me know where you're from. And let's see, I want to start by asking what the week's going to bring us. I know I'm not quite all the way on camera, so sorry about that. I just needed to change my setup tonight. And I thought you might want to see the cards for a change. So, I know half my head's cut off, but oh well. So, Tarot, show us what's coming toward us. What's this week going to be like for us? show my collective what kind of energies are coming toward us this week. And if anybody's watching from the path of Hurricane Helene, I hope you're safe and your homes are safe. I have a friend in Atlanta that said she got 15 inches of rain. My goodness, my goodness. That's a whole lot of rain. So, let's see what's this next week bringing us as a collective. Excuse me. Tabitha, hey Tabitha from Louisiana, all right. Well, I lived in Mississippi, your neighbor, for a few years. You guys got a break this time. In Louisiana, y'all usually get most of that weather from the hurricanes in the Gulf, but you got a break, didn't you? Bless your heart, y'all be slamming, getting slammed all the time over there. All right, what else is coming toward us, Tara? Thank you for asking, Tabitha. That's very sweet. You have one on the, oh no, seriously? Oh, I haven't looked at the weather, I guess, this day or two, well, since yesterday morning. I'm very well. Thank you for asking, Tabitha. I hope you are as well. These cards are slow as molasses tonight. This deck is not my most talkative one, but I enjoy it. Alrighty. Coming next week. Eesh. Well, I really hope, you know, Texas, it's interesting. Usually it's you guys come straight up the Gulf. Texas gets it too. They've been slammed a couple of times this hurricane season already. But not, you know, they're not typically manifest to Cat 4s like this one was that came up through Florida. All right, so what's coming toward us this week? Can y'all see that? Well, you still can't really see the cards. You can see me putting them down, but I'll hold them up. King of Pentacles, Eight of Cups in the reverse, Three of Wands in the reverse, Knight of Cups in the reverse. My goodness, oh wow, all of these but one are in the reverse. Yeah, and the Nine of Cups in the reverse. So let me see here. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Emperor. So I'm feeling like this is a boss up kind of week for us. Whether it's school or... Oh, I will be happy to answer that. And that's a great question, Tabitha. Let me finish this a little bit and I'll come back to your question. Great question. So we're focusing on money most of us this week, or stability. It could be either one of those. I think some of us are feeling like either we don't have the options, all the options that we'd like to have, or this can also mean you had a lot of options and now you're making a choice. It can mean either of those. But I'm inclined to think the first, because of the Three of Wands being reversed. This is in the upright, looking for our ships, looking out into the harbor, watching our ships come in. In the reverse, it can mean either the timing is not right, or it can just mean it's, you know, not yet is what I'm hearing actually from this card. Not yet, close, but not yet. And for some of you out there, it's because whatever this thing is, it's just something you're not in love with. It's not, I don't know, I didn't intend for this to be a love reading, just a general reading. So, you know, if it's love, you could apply that. But if it was a love reading, this would be somebody not offering their cup of love. But I feel like if it's career, it's just something you're not enamored with, you're not in love with. And that's backed up by the Eight of Cups. Excuse me, Nine of Cups right next to it in reverse. So it feels to me like we might be facing something this week that we've got to make a choice about, very possibly, and we're not feeling all that excited about it. But the reason I said it's a week to boss up is because the Emperor is at the bottom of the deck. You may encounter somebody you may encounter somebody who's playing mind games with you. And that could be an emperor. That could be this emperor. The Five of Swords is right behind this emperor. And right behind that is the Knight of Wands. So if you get some kind of an offer, or I don't know again if this is career or personal or romantic, I would rethink this week, because this can be ego, this can be stubbornness, this can be willpower and mind games, ego winning at all costs, and in and out kind of not dependable energy. That's what the essence of that is. So that's what I'm seeing here. If it's romance, it could be somebody from your past who wants to be passionate with you, and you might be saying, not having it. Mind over heart this week. So for those of you who apply this message to romance, you know, you can boss up in romance too. So I say boss up, right? Boss up in romance too. Yes. Okay, let me get to Tabitha's question, because let me read that again. What made me learn tarot cards is the question. Well, Tabitha, I have been doing readings for, I don't know, over 30 years. I never used tarot cards. My teacher taught me how to do intuitive readings in a lot of different ways, but none of them involved tarot cards, just cold reading, or some of the readings were, you'd be sitting with a querent, which is the person you're reading, and they would just say a word, and from that one word, you would start talking about what that word meant, what that could mean to this person, and it sort of, because it's an energy exchange, it leads you into doing a reading for somebody. We learned how to do remote viewing and all kinds of things like that. So I didn't get into tarot until about 2 years ago, and I just like a lot of tarot readers, it was a relationship, and I was curious, and I was trying to figure out what spirit was trying to teach me, the lessons I needed to learn, that maybe, you know, it's like you can't see the forest for the trees. When you're right in the middle of it, it's hard to see what your part is. And so I was looking for guidance in that, and then I started pulling tarot, and I really, really liked it. So I taught myself the archetypal meanings of the tarot cards. So I do know what they mean, but I do my best when I go on my intuition, because that's how I've been doing it for 30 years, honestly. So that's my answer to that question, Tabitha. You know, are you asking that because you're thinking about learning? Then good for you. Good for you. It's just what most people, I think, don't realize is tarot is a tool, just like scrying. Scrying is when somebody has like a bowl of water, or they're looking into a crystal ball, and tea leaves or coffee grinds, or, I mean, you can use any tool, but it's just a tool. The secret sauce is the reader. It's the reader that makes the difference, the reader that's picking up on the information. These are just tools. So if you're looking for a good reader, find one that can read without those kinds of things. They're not dependent on them, let me put it like that. They're great tools, but maybe not dependent on them. So that would be. I do know things about spirits. I know a good bit about spirits. What's your question about spirits, Tabitha? I love these kind of discussions. What would you like to know? They are around. If you're talking about, there are different kinds of spirits. Let's be a lot of different kinds of spirits. If you're talking about deceased loved ones, they are around us all the time. They see and hear what goes on in our lives. They send us messages. They guide us. You've been having a lot of problems. What's my input on the afterlife? Oh my goodness, I'm so loving this discussion with you, Tabitha. This is awesome. My input on the afterlife. Boy, where do I start? Well, I do believe there is one. Let's start there. There certainly is one. And, oh, that's a big subject. I do have some opinions about that some people might not agree with. So let me tell you a few of mine, and you can ask me more specific information if you'd like. So I think when we cross over, we go through what's called the life review, and we get to look at what we did and what we did wonderfully and what we wish we'd done differently or better. And based on that review, it sets the stage for our next incarnation, because I do believe in reincarnation. So that's sort of the immediate transition to the other side. But because we don't all live the same life, and some people aren't as spiritually evolved or as spiritually awakened, or they're not as good, and I mean good by right and wrong, as other people. Maybe they've done some things that they maybe shouldn't have done. There are all different kinds of reasons, and also quick and sudden traumatic deaths. Any of those things can cause a person to be in a longer transition, because we all go through a transition period. So after the review, we go through a transition period. And it can take some people longer than others to get through that. But eventually, I like to think most of us can get to that better place. So when we leave here in the physical, there's a part of us, let me back up. There's a part of us that lives in this body, in the 3D world here. And then when we leave this physical body, that part of us goes back and reemerges into the non-physical, the bigger part of ourselves that stays over there when we, kind of separate and come down here to incarnate in this 3D body. So the bigger part of us is over there in the non-physical world. And when we cross over, we join that again. We join that part of us again. Boy, that's a lot. Do you have questions about that, or something more specific, maybe? Because I kind of thought when you said spirits, that's what you meant, but I love your questions. Yes, I do. Tabitha is asking, for those of you who don't or might not later watch the chat, she asked if I believe someone can be cursed. I do. It's not as common as you might think, but I would have to ask, what is your definition of a curse? Because everything is energy, Tabitha. Everything is energy. So even if you say to somebody, damn it, I wish you hadn't done that, there's anger in that. Or if you accuse somebody, in other words, anything other than loving energy that you project to another human being can be a kind of curse. Now, not in the typical association that you would have with the word curse. I know curse typically is thought of as somebody doing a ritual of some kind, and I understand that. Hello, MMC, welcome. Doing a rosary and people dying, everything is backwards. Doing a rosary and everything, people dying, everything. Oh, goodness. Well, that sounds like a story. That sounds like a very scary story, Tabitha, what you just said there. So you're saying somebody's doing a rosary and people are dying, everything is backwards. Wow. Yes, that's scary. I think, Tabitha, for a long time, I didn't believe, because I didn't want to believe that those things existed, but that's not true anymore, I have to say. And it's very, very important to choose carefully who and what you associate yourself with, because, again, everything's energy. And even if you're making good choices, but you're with someone who's not, that energy can rub off on you. So I'm very well. Thank you, MMC. Thank you. I'm feeling better by the day. I was sick for a month, and I'm Tired of it. Tired of it. Ready to get back to me and get back to doing these. I have had so little energy to do these. I just couldn't. You know, I love being here, but it does take a lot of energy. So anyway, so Tabitha, that makes me very upset and sad and troubled by that. I hope it's not someone you're spending time with that's doing that. It's not. Thank you, MMC. That's right. I had COVID, and I got well literally 2 days before I had a planned vacation with my son and his wife down in Mexico. So I got well just in time to go on that trip. I got back and had some stomach issues, and then I got a flu shot, which, because my body was not strong enough, gave me the flu. I mean, it didn't. It's kind of a weird thing. Anyway, I was sick with a fever and no energy and no appetite for another 10 days. So it was just like this month of being in the bed, essentially. It was not fun. And it's taken longer. You know, as you get older, it takes you longer for your body to recuperate and all that good stuff. But I'm getting better by the day. Thank you, MMC. I appreciate you even noticing I was gone. Thank you. Let's see, Tabitha says, well, don't do witchcraft. I think it's a family curse. Well, that could be, or let me put that another way, Tabitha, before I read your second comment here. Tabitha says, I'm alone and I don't do witchcraft, and that's a good thing. I think it's a family curse. It definitely could be, I hate to use that word curse. It just has such a different and specific connotation to it. I would prefer to use the word, you may have the responsibility of healing some family karma. Family lineage can sometimes have karma attached to it. I think that I certainly had to do that with my lineage. I'm 99% sure that I did. It's not a task for the weak-hearted, darling. It's not, but the fact that it's attached to you says you were strong enough, or they would not have chosen you. Because here's the thing. You remember me talking about when we have the life review, and then we take a look at what we wish we'd done better, and maybe unresolved issues with other people, and this unfinished business, let's call it. So the next time when you've had your little break between lifetimes and you're ready to come back, everybody has their sort of proverbial plate of, you know, let's say 2 or 3 issues that they need to work on for that lifetime. So you essentially choose your parents, and you choose your, you know, where you want to live, and all those things, so that it's kind of a setup to prepare you and give you what you need so that you can work on those particular things that your soul needs to work on. So you chose your parents, you chose that mission, if that is the case, to do that. But your guides wouldn't let that happen typically unless you are strong enough to handle it. So that's my point, is you must be a strong soul if you've decided to take on that mission and your spirit team allowed you to do that. So let me see what else you said here. I'm happy to feel you. Thank you. I am happy to be feeling better too. Well, Tabitha, I love these discussions. I wish more people would come on and ask these kind of questions. I will talk about this all day long till my voice runs out. You have had unbelievable dreams. Well, Tabitha, hello, SKBL 24 bands. Welcome, welcome. I would suggest, Tabitha, if you haven't already, do a protection ritual. It's very simple. You can Google it or search on YouTube here. There are some very simple ones you can do. Let me see if there's anything that Spirit wants to give me for you on that. Tabitha, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Do you live like in an apartment where you have neighbors that are close by? Can you answer that for me? I remember your title. I don't remember what I read for you. SKB 12. Excuse me, that's an L, not a SKBL 24 bands. When I've read for so many people, I don't remember if I read, what the message was I read for you. I remember your handle though, because it's quite unique. Okay, Tabitha, this is a whole other subject. That's why I was asking you when you're praying. That's scary. Yeah, that could be scary. That would be very scary, Tabitha. So for those of you, again, who don't read the chat later, Tabitha is saying, now you can't, meaning you can't do a protection ritual. I don't agree with that. You can. It doesn't have to be as fancy as you may be imagining. She says, I've had water and oil come down the walls. No, I do not live by people. Okay. Well, this could be, now we're getting into a different kind of area, because I asked you at the beginning if you were talking about spirits that had crossed over. She's saying, on my cross, the head bleeds. Certain prayers are hard to do. Well, I bet they are. So if you have, let's call them dark spirits, for lack, that's a very generic, general term. That certainly could be symptoms of that. Most likely that would be what it would be. You can also have other kinds of, I'm going to call them energies. Energies is a word I use very broadly because people tend to want to label things and put titles on things, especially Americans, we do that. And it's just not always helpful. Well, Tabitha, most people would move by now. They would not live in a house where that was happening. So I have to ask you though, have you ever had these things or anything close to this happen before? Because if you are being, if these energies are targeting you, in other words, spirits can attach themselves to a person, they can attach themselves to a house, or sometimes it's both. You did have it happen. So this is telling me they are attached to you, not your house, because spirits in a house have that's a whole other chapter, so to speak, in a book of conversation. And it still does. Okay, Tabitha, I don't know how old of a person you are. I don't think you're that old. I don't think I think you're quite young. So my question, well, I'm old, so by comparison, young. Have you, for example, ever, either alone or with other people, played with things like a spirit box or a Ouija board? 40. Mm-hmm. I could feel you were younger. I just couldn't tell how much. Can you answer that question for me? Nope. Okay. Have you gone on to places that you knew were haunted or people said were haunted, those kinds of places? I'm waiting for her to respond. There's a little bit of delay here on the, no, okay. So we're checking off the list here of ways. For those of you who don't know, I think I might have said this one more time, some other night we were having a reading. Those things that I just mentioned, spirit boxes, especially Ouija boards, or going to a place that is known to be haunted, those can open up portals. So don't do it. Just don't do it. They can open up portals. And you don't know what might potentially come through that portal. So don't play with those guys. Don't let your kids play with those. You love to play with your rosary. Well, that's good because, Tabitha, honestly, it's important. I don't believe that there's only one way to believe. In other words, there's only Baptists or only Catholics or only Islam. I think that I heard a wonderful saying one time, and it was attributed to a nun saying it. I cannot confirm that there are as many paths to heaven as there are people. In other words, we find our own way, what works for us. It's just important that you do have faith in something, that you do believe in something. That's what's really important. Now, that being said, and let me preface this by sharing. I grew up and raised in a household that was Baptist, so very fundamental Christian upbringing. When I got older and became an adult, about your age, Tabitha, I started looking into other paths, things that spoke to me in a way that I needed. And so I embraced a path now, and have for 35 years, that is a synthesis of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. So my beliefs are probably different than most people, but I still, like on my altar, I have a statue of Buddha, a statue of Kuan Yin, and a statue of Jesus meditating. So I still very much respect many of those traditions. And so if you are, thank you, I'm glad you like that. So you have to, I'm going to say this, and I'm trying to tread lightly here. I am not an exorcist. I can, but I'm not officially one. Now, I have certain sanctions and powers that I can do certain things because I've studied with the shaman for 35 years. You say you relate to Buddha, okay. So, I was going to say if you were more of a Christian, you would certainly pray to Jesus, and I've heard many priests and advocates of Catholicism talk about how they rebuke and clear spirits in the name of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to throw that out to you as an option if you want to try that. Also, I can't talk about the subject without bringing this up, which you hear me talk about, like when I'm doing love readings and so forth. You were baptized. Okay, good. Then you can relate to that solution. Whoops, my mic is getting twisted. And you can do homework, research on that. Excuse me. If you feel pulled to do that. When you were 7, yes. I think for me, I was 5 or 6. I mean, I knew what I was doing at that age. I was spiritual from the moment my eyes opened here. Excuse me. Pardon. Now, Tabitha, we have to talk about something that's a little bit more about you taking responsibility too. Somewhere along the line, you either, something attached to you. Again, you brought up there are many possibilities here. You brought up a curse. You brought up, like we talked about families being like a lineage of curse or lineage of family karma. That's kind of thing you're talking about here with oil rolling down the walls. That is not that. This is something more. That's not typically how that kind of lineage or karma would ever show up. Now, this is something else. Now, if something has attached itself to you, you're going to need to clear that. Okay, and again, you can go online, you can research that, you can do homework on it. But here's what I have to say to you, and that's probably what you should do, definitely. But the more you believe that it's a thing, the more power you give it. Now, I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm saying it weakens you, and the weaker you become, the more power it has over you. Does that make sense? No, it's not. I mean, if you're talking about oil rolling down your walls, no, it's not normal. Unless you're living in an oil refinery. Okay, it does make sense. Good. So I have to make a point here that you have a responsibility here. You're not a victim. It may seem like that, but the more you buy into being a victim, the more you are a victim, the more power this thing, whatever it is, has over you. So you need to understand this is your house. You need to take command of it, number one. It's not all the time, only when I pray a lot. Well, that sounds like a very manipulative situation where something is trying to... let me change this, because I guess I should have asked this question to begin with, Tabitha, so forgive me for not thinking through this. How do you feel when that happens? When you have water and oil running down your walls, do you feel, because you started this conversation with saying, I got the impression, you asked me if I believe in curses. So you're feeling that this is a curse, that this is happening. That's the impression I've gotten from our conversation. I didn't get the sense that you're saying, I'm praying and this is a divine thing that's happening here. So you tell me. You said curse, so I got the feeling. At first you thought it was your house and it was old. Yes, well, old houses do leak. That's true. But they typically leak water or dusty, mucky, not oil. So the fact that you said oil, that leads me to believe, I mean, like I said, unless you're living in an oil refinery somewhere, I don't know how that would happen. But real quickly, let me come back to this. So, Tabitha, you need to take responsibility. You know, humans are given... Oh, shoot, I just lost the word. What was second? I can't believe I can't remember that word. Okay, well, it just left me. You were given a certain authority. That's not the word I was looking for, but it will work. Being a human being. We are the top of the food chain here on this planet, so to speak. So the first thing is for you to understand that. The second thing is for you to do protection rituals. Third thing would be for you to learn how to clear the energy in your house and learn how to cut any karmic cords that you have. And those are all things you can, I mean, it's all kind of trash on the internet, but there's some very good information about those subjects. And because that's a long subject, and I don't really have time to go into all that tonight because I wasn't here. I was here to do some readings for people, which is essentially what I'm doing for you, really, anyway. Well, I bet it's difficult to talk to people about this. There aren't many weird people like me out here. Some people know a little bit about some things. It just happens to be my zone. I love all things metaphysical. So I'm not saying I'm an expert in all of them, but I know I have a base knowledge about many things. So I hope you're taking notes here about the things I just mentioned that I'd like you to try to do. Oh, my pleasure, Tabitha. I really hope you'll check back in with me and let me know if these things work. So you could also be, I mean, there's many things here. That's why I asked you if you had had this thing or something like this happen before. So you said yes, because if it wasn't, I would have asked you some things about your house. There can also be, you know, there can be portals where souls can come in and out inside of a house that you wouldn't know that, right? That was there before you got there. But since you've said this kind of thing has happened before, I think it's more about you. Well, yeah, 100-year-old house. It can have all kind of gnarly energy in there. Either way, the approach to me, for you, Tabitha, unless you want to hire somebody to come and do this for you, and it may come to that, start by doing protection rituals. And it can be a very simple thing like just surrounding, close your eyes and pray to God and whomever, and ask that you be surrounded in a bubble of golden white light to protect you from any negative, detrimental, or harmful energies, and envision that happening. I'd start my day with that every single day. That's a very simple one you can do. So let me do that. And as I said, if you are comfortable, rebuking energies or that kind of language you're familiar with from your Christian background, or invoking Jesus things in Jesus's name, then you could clear your house that way. There are other ways to clear it. Burn incense is one really good way, simple way. I would say you need to start, and don't set any smoke alarms off. I would say get a bowl of rice and take 7 sticks of incense. And when you're doing this, you need to hold the burning end of the incense to the right if you're a woman. It would be to the left if you're a man, to the right if you're a woman. And I would walk around your house and just, spread the incense. But what is important is what you're saying inside of yourself. Your intention is to clear the energy of anything detrimental, harmful, or negative. And you ask those things to leave your house. You banish them. We're going to get back to, you have the authority. You are an authority. It is your home. You are the authority there. You must claim and own that authority, though, Tabitha. You can't be a victim and, oh my goodness, these scary things are happening to me. You have to, this is my house. Don't do this. I don't want this to be happening in my house. If you need to do this, go somewhere else, but you have to leave my house. Or, in other words, you need to be strong, and you need to take control in a sense, and not be a victim. Again, to reiterate, when you're weak, they have more power over you. They, whatever this is. Let me catch up on your comments now. Again, my pleasure, Tabitha. I'm glad it's a great discussion here. What is the best incense to get? I think sandalwood. And you're asking me about a brand. I can't help you there, but sandalwood is what I would recommend. Everything has to deal with death. It's a miserable feeling all the time, and I totally, yes, well, that's what life is. It's just repeating cycles of life and living and dying, and I don't mean that in a morbid way. I mean everything are cycles. Everything, whether it's jobs or houses or people or experiences, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's just, that's what life is. It's cycles of things. That's how I look at it anyway. Okay, Tabitha, I hope some of that helps. I really, really do. It's been a very interesting discussion, and I hope that you'll come back and report to me. Now, one other thing you can do in addition to the incense, and by the way, once you've gone around your house and you sort of like use it like a smudge stick. That's another thing you could do. I like incense. It smells better, but you can do a sage, they call it. It's a smudge stick. If you do incense, then get a bowl of rice, and once you've gone around the house, you can stick this incense in the bowl and just let it burn for a while. Now, another thing you can do, I'm tuning in 1 second. No, we're going to leave it there for now. Try that and see, hopefully, if that helps. And also, well, right, and they could be talking to you. Typically, this is not, I've never seen this spirits talk to you in that way, okay? Typically, they talk to you the more common ways, or they can make lights flicker and music flicker, and they can leave you coins or feathers, or, my brother talks to me through the birds and things like that. That's why I have all these feathers laying here. They were his. This was his. So those are more common. I've never heard that happening like this. So I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. By the way, guys, for those of you that are here, please hit that like button if you would. Very, very grateful. Let's see. You had the lights and 2 doves and birds. Yes. Yeah. Well, in particular, I had this conversation with somebody recently, well, actually 2 people recently. I don't remember that it was on my live, but it could have been. Yeah, it was. One of them was. That if you have loved ones in your life, talk about it now. Make it a fun discussion, not a morbid discussion, but a fun discussion about, I do this with my kids all the time, or my grandchildren even. I said, okay, now when I leave, I want to come back and visit you. And they think, oh, that's creepy. I said, no, it's not. I want to come see you, see how you're doing. Well, how would you like me to come back? I'm not going to come back and haunt you and scare you. How would you like me to give you that message? I don't know. They may say, cardinals. Somebody in my family said cardinals. Well, that's also a very common sighting. Most people see cardinals and associate that with, that's pretty common. But it's something specific to you so that your loved one will know that that's you. And then you can ask them. You talk to them just like they're sitting in the room with you. You know, hey, Mom, how are you today? If you're here, you know, make the lights flicker, or make, you know, I'd love to hear from you this week. If you could, I'd love to find a blue feather this week. That would help me know that's you. So you can ask for those things. Now, be mindful if you ask for those things. It's not always going to be a feather on the ground right at your feet. It could be a picture of a feather. It could be a feather on a billboard. It could be a feather, you know, in a piece of art that you walk by. It could come to you in a lot of different ways. So be mindful of that. You kind of have to be aware of your surroundings more. Well, there you go. There you go, Tabitha. The Pope, I think of as, well, see, so then you would have to just be on the lookout for that. So you would know that's who that is. The feathers are angels, And yes, the feathers are angels, but like my brother, again, talks to me through birds. And so depends on what you want and what you associate. And, you know, if you believe only angels, I think, or what your definition is of angels, because angels can be deceased loved ones. Some people think angels are deceased loved ones. I have a distinction about that in my mind. I think we use that term in our culture anyway, angels, kind of interchangeable with guardians or people who are looking out for me. That's not technically an angel, but we kind of tend to use those terms interchangeably. So it kind of depends. Angels, to me, is a very specific entity. Not necessarily like, oh, my grandmother's an angel and she's watching over me. That's my personal feeling about that. But everybody can have your own opinions. Feathers are angels. Well, especially white feathers are often associated with angels. So that's true about that. Yes, I always thank my guardians. That's a beautiful thing to do. Yes, it is. Beautiful thing to do. Tabitha, I really hope some of this has helped you tonight. It's been a really lovely conversation. I love these kind of conversations. And let me know. Come back and let me know. Or you could even, after this video is done, because this is a live, write me a comment. I'd love to hear that if you want to follow up. Or, you know, just come back in one of my other lives and say, hey, I'd love that. All right. Does anybody else have a question tonight on that subject or a related subject? Thank you, Tabitha. That's so very sweet. Thank you. I just love. Okay, MMC. I see you raising your hand. Will I get a promotion next week? Oh, let's look. Let's ask. Whoop. Guys, I didn't realize my mic had fallen off. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I did not know that had fallen off. I have no idea how long that's been there. see. I bet that's better. So sorry. I did not mean to do that. Okay, we're asking for MMC. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sorry, hang on. Try not to cough in y'all's ear. I still have a hanger on her cough from flu and COVID. Hello, CRST. Krista, I'm going to say 23. I love these subjects. Doesn't mean I'm always right with all my answers, but they're my answers and I like them. I'm pretty good with a lot of that subject, though. That is not your deck. Hang on. All right. We want to ask for MMC about getting a promotion next week. MMC. What deck? What deck? What deck? Wow. Okay. You get my offline deck. That's unusual. Okie doke. Will MMC get a promotion next week? Let's ask. Will MMC get a promotion next week? Oh, CRST, Krista, I'm calling you. We had you might want to go back and read the chat. We had a very, very interesting conversation. Tabitha was having some very interesting things happening in her house, and she was asking me about that. So we talked for quite a while. I don't know how long have we even been on here. Where's my little timer thing? I can't tell. How long have we been on here? I don't know. But anyway, about that, so if that's of interest to you, you might want to go back and scroll and read that. Right now, I'm doing some tarot readings, so we're here to do that. Well, those two cards don't look good. I'm going to get some more cards, though, MMC. Let's see. I'm not going to stop with that. Came out sideways. All right. Okay. Do you work for like a company that, like a bigger company or corporation, MMC? Because I'm getting this whole story here. That might have to do with, it kind of feels like it's a big company or corporation. Yeah, big corporation. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to be sure I was on the right, getting the right track here. This feels like a big corporation, yeah. Because the cards that came out for you, the Chariot in reverse, I don't know if you can see them, probably not. No, there's a glare, sorry. The Death card sideways and the Temperance in reverse. The quick answer would be probably not, but let me give you the longer answer. This feels, this has downsizing written all over it to me. And that's a weird, I know you weren't here in the beginning, but I talked about that I've done readings way before I started pulling tarot cards. There is some, I want to say shell game happening in this corporation. And things are being moved around. And that happens in any big corporation. That's not like a psychic thing you need to know. You know, I'd be psychic to know that. But I think it's, I don't know if it's your job exactly. The Death card, now this just means change. Okay, the Death card, don't get scared. Death card means change or transformation. But when they come out sideways like this, it's telling me the energy of the card is yet to be determined, whether it's upright or reversed, yet to be determined. So right now, there's no movement, no forward movement, maybe even a lack of direction about this change, these changes. So this is not settled yet. And the Temperance card is disharmony, a lack of balance, can be impatience as well. I think this is you being impatient about this. Yeah, the Lover's in reverse. Now, this is not a love reading, but this would be telling me you might not love like the result, or even if you did, you might not like where you're being put, or the promotion you're given might, pardon me, might mean, I mean, even if you got it, it might mean you wouldn't like what came with it, you know, like more responsibility than you might want, or maybe you don't like the team you're put with, or that kind of thing. Sorry, y'all, I've been talking so long. Because underneath that's the Devil card. Now, this is toxic energy. Now, it is in reverse. That's good. It is in reverse. But it can also be being released from things that hold you back. The Devil card is simply things that prevent us from being fully who we are in our best versions. So I'd have to say this is, I won't say a hard no, but it does not look promising for that. And I heard, because I ask questions in my head sometimes if I don't ask them out loud. I heard not yet. I heard not yet. But you know what I'm also hearing is this, if you don't get it, it's a blessing in disguise. I am hearing that for you. If you don't get this promotion, it's a blessing in disguise, because I think things are really up in the air at this corporation right now. I think that even if you got this promotion, you probably would not be happy with it. See if there's anything else here Tarot wants to say. Yeah, there's some things. King of Swords in reverse. This can be somebody who's cold and detached. This could be a boss or somebody, I don't know. But it can also be somebody who's vindictive, who's not kind with their words, not, I just get cold. But this can also be, because I'm feeling like somebody's holding back a truth, okay? Very likely your company is holding that, you don't have all the information. Let me put it like that. There certainly is a lack of clarity here. You don't have all the information. You don't have all the information about what? About an offer, which could be your promotion. Juggling and the Tower. Yeah, I don't feel good about this. And again, I'm going to say, I think that it might be a blessing in disguise if you don't get it. That's the energy I'm getting here. Let me catch up on your comments. Okay, so anything else? Let me ask. Anything else here? No? Okay. Well, there you go. Five of Pentacles is being out in the cold. I hope they're not going to let you go. Yeah, I really hope that's not the case here, but so even, I think what this means though, even if you got this promotion, it probably wouldn't last long. That's probably the message here, because I've already told you how I feel about that, is that it's almost a blessing in disguise if you don't get it. Yeah. Yep. Have you looked at jobs at another place or another company by chance? Because I'm kind of feeling that energy from this card. Maybe you were hoping to get the promotion, but just as a backup, you were looking at jobs at another. Yeah, that's what it feels to me like. I think you're going to, honestly, I think you'd be better off somewhere else. I'm seeing you looking at making a choice. Now this is mind games. This is typically somebody winning at all costs. That's not good. And applying to the other places, yeah. I really think something better is going to come for you. Look, something you're going to love. Yeah, this is the happy home card. I think, I mean, I would wait. I would wait and see what they do, what they offer you if it comes. But I have a feeling you're going to be better off somewhere else. And this may be, you know, MMC, it may be something that you might not know this. You just might not get the promotion. Everything's quiet. You take a job, you go to another company, and then 6 months from now, you might find out that this company's, you know, shutting down half their, or your division where you would have been anyway, or something like that. It has that feel to it to me, like there's just something going on that you don't know about that's changing things. They're neither upright or, yeah. They're changed, but it's not settled yet. They're still in the works behind the scenes. Okay, well, I hope that helps. But you know, like I said, even if I would have to say probably not. But if not, then like I said, it's a blessing in disguise. I think you might be being protected because there's something better coming, and that's my feeling at this other job. You're very welcome. Glad to help. Very glad to help. Yes, Krista, that's right. Some things, I'm calling you Krista. I know that's not what you're, but it's easier for me to say. Change is good. Absolutely. Don't even. I'm talking to my deck. It's not always easy. Change is not easy typically, but it's often exactly what we need. We get so comfortable in our knowns. And, you know, we don't on our own accord often go out there and do things that are different. And sometimes Spirit has to push us to do those things. But, yeah, your aunt still does. Yep. All right. Well, I've got one more free reading here. Anybody else? Well, I don't count Tabitha. That was a good discussion. I don't really count that as a reading per se. Kind of, it was, but it wasn't. So anybody else have anything they want to ask about tonight? Or just general discussion? Yes, yes. I do want una más, one more. I do not have a hot date tonight. I am yours for a little bit longer. Okay. Somebody have a question? Anybody else? Waiting for the chat. Do y'all like this setup better or not? I can't tell. Tell me whatever I need to know. Whatever you need to know. All right, Krista. You asked for it. What deck? Oh, you know that one's so slow to talk. I know. I whine every time they tell me to use this deck. I like this deck a lot. It just takes forever to get the cards to come out. It's very slow motion. Hopefully that won't be the case tonight. Okay, Krista, what do you need to know? Let's see. What does Tarot have to tell you? Krista, are you thinking about, did you just recently move, or are you thinking about moving by chance? Did I have a flipper? Yes. Oh, well, that's a great card to start with. The Sun. Can you answer that question for me? Have you recently moved or are thinking about moving by chance? 2020. No, this would be more recent. Somebody in your family, maybe? Messages for Krista, please. I don't know, do you have a child go off to school or something? I just feel a shift in the house. A shift in the energy in your house. See, this deck just, come on, come on. Okay. Ooh. All right, so far, really, really good. I'm going to get a couple more, though, before I speak. She says, I'm always thinking about moving, though. I really want to go downsize, and yes, because of the, yes. Well, I've done that 3 times. This is my 3rd downsizing, and it is amazing what you can learn to live without. I mean, I don't really miss much of my stuff that I got rid of. You need a shift to motivate yourself. Well, that may be why that message is coming through for me tonight, because I feel like that would be really good for you, honestly. I do, I do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7. All right. Can you see those kind of, sort of? Okay. So I'm trying to keep this broad because you didn't ask about love or job or specific. So be mindful what I say can apply to those areas. But your first card out, and usually the first card can be the strongest, is the Sun, this happiest card in the deck. This is happiness, it's feeling content, it's illumination also. It means it can shed light on things. And interesting, because the Emperor is next. Emperor is authority. He's, I mean, he rules a kingdom. An emperor does. It also can mean willpower, and it's right between this 2 of Cups. Now, the 2 of Cups, that could be a romantic relationship. It often, well, and certainly in love readings, this is the card you want to get, the 2 of Cups. So it could be that you're getting ready to meet this person. I don't know if you're single or not. You said we moved into that house, so I'm thinking you, okay. Purge, yeah, purge is good. Kids are grown. Okay, good. Kids are grown. Yep, I did that. So I don't know, again, if you're single or not. If you are single, you may be getting ready to meet somebody. That's what this, or this could be someone from your past coming back. This could be a person who's coming from your past to bring you love. Now, love can look a lot of different ways. You know, if you're not looking for a romance, that could be an old friend coming back that you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe a classmate or a relative you haven't seen in a while. So that could actually be that, like I said, unless you're looking for romance. You have a girlfriend. All right. Well, there you go. Or GF could be girlfriend or good friend. I'm not sure which. Doesn't matter. It's applicable both ways. This could be, hang on, let me tune in, because this can mean so many different things. Something from your past, again, something you love or loved, something from your past that you didn't want to let go of, or don't, present tense, don't want to let go of, or that doesn't want to let go of you, okay? Take my time, okay? So, again, if this was a love reading, this would have a specific message, but it's harder for me, frankly, to do general readings. There's so many ways this could go. Let me just stop looking at the cards for a second. I do better when I don't look at the cards. Actually, this feels like a friend that you're going to reconnect with. That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. Now, why the Strength card is in reverse, I'm not sure. It could be something as simple as, oh, Lord, it takes a lot of strength for hanging around. I have friends, one in particular here that lives here, that I love her to death, but it takes a lot of energy and patience to be around her for long periods of time. Just saying. I love her to death. But it may just be saying you're not used to that, and you may debate sometimes, did I really want to go out to lunch with her? It takes a lot of my energy, you know, that kind of thing. It could be something that simple. Because temperance is about patience. The temperance card in the upright is about patience, but it's also about things balancing. And let me see, you've got 1, 2. Okay, and I love that these two cards bookend each other. The Sun, again, the happiest card in the deck, and Temperance. Temperance is a major arcana. It implies that the universe, bigger than us, right, is helping to balance things. This angel in this card, you can see if I can get the glare off of there, is pouring from one cup into the other. It's trying to harmonize energies and balance. Excuse me. So, I'm going to get to that in a second. It feels to me like, again, you may have somebody from your past, could be a relative, I don't know, but it feels like a friend that's coming back, and it's good. It's very good. All of this is good. The only thing to be mindful about is this could be talking about this person, may not have their money where they want to be. That's a possibility. They may be struggling financially. And I say that because the 4 of Pentacles in reverse and also the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, that's about balance. But when it's in reverse, it implies an imbalance, not an equal give and take. Like this person, it might be as simple as this person maybe just takes more energy for you to deal with some days than you just don't have it to give. I mean, I don't know. Now, I love that this King of Pentacles is here. Again, if you're single, this could be a person coming, yeah, who thinks you're very attractive. I'm just saying. That could be happening too. Let me see if there's any other cards that want to come out for you. This could also say, another way to read these cards would be that like, I forget, you said you're 40, I think, so you're probably still working, but let's say, I mean, if you had a job or something that you felt good about doing, like if you were a boss or you were an artist or you were, I don't know, you know, whatever it is, school bus driver, but you're doing something that you feel makes you feel good and confident doing, that you love. It could be something that you did in your past that's coming back to revisit. So, you know, if it's something like that, that's another way to read this. Okay, anything else for Krista? You are working, yeah, I thought I could kind of feel that. So, you know, pardon me. You know, the Emperor is probably you, but it could also be like a boss you used to work for. Again, if this was a love reading, this would be a boss that maybe had a crush on you, somebody from your past. Just saying. Whether you're married or not, they maybe they don't care. I don't know. 54 on October. Oh, are you? Oh, you're on the cusp of a Scorpio. Because I was going to say I'm a Scorpio. Obviously, my channel is called Scorpio 1111. 54. That's young. That's way young. Y'all, I'm sorry. Feel like my voice is getting ready to go. So, This King of Pentacles just won't go away. It won't go away. And these two cards came out. You saw me shuffle, and these two cards came out again. Yes. Now, this could be saying, you know, you're just not feeling, maybe it's saying you're focusing on work. This could be saying you're just busy focusing on work. That's the case. That's good. You're bringing the money in. But it might be causing an imbalance, you know, all work and no play, what they say, makes Jack a dull boy. So you might be needing, and that may also be why this Temperance card is here. You might, yeah, see, and as I said that, this is the quintessential card of working. It's the apprentice working, perfecting his craft. And underneath that is a tower. So that could be saying, if you don't slow down and find balance, the universe is going to do it for you. So be mindful of that. If you might need to get 30 minutes from Libra. Oh, wow, 30 minutes. Wow, that's truly cusp. That is on that cusp. So anyway, I think part of the message for you is, again, about finding balance. This, again, is not equal give and take, and I just feel like this is sort of your energy. You know, sometimes we just get in a rut, and we get up and go to work, and we come home and we eat, and we go to bed, and we get up to, you know, and we do it day in after day, and sometimes I just feel like maybe you're too focused and not having enough fun, that things are not balanced for you. Yep. Feel like you need to, I mean, it's good to, work is good, perfecting your craft, but I just think you're not feeling that sense of balance in your life right now, and Spirit's saying you need to work on that. Yep. There's another message here, because that could say you're struggling to hold on to your money. That's weakening you in a sense. You're bringing up fears and not being strong enough to keep going on. And that's part of what this balance is trying to restore here. Well, that might be another question, and that is another question. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Can I see where you stand spiritually and what the next level is? That's a loaded question. That's a real. I'm not even sure what. I don't even want to look at tarot right now. I'm tuning in. Just a second. I think you're on the verge of having a bit of a breakthrough, and I think that's why Spirit wants you to focus on trying to find balance. That right now you're not balanced, and that's actually preventing you progressing spiritually. Can I say it like that? That may be holding you back from being where you want to be spiritually, if I can say it that way. So I'm not sure exactly what your question, well, Krista, that's okay. Some of these readings, there can be 400, 500 people on here, and I just can't answer everybody's questions, but since I'm here, and you'll probably be on the last reading, I'll go ahead and tune into that a little bit for you. But this just feels, it's kind of got that message written all over it. This card has so many levels, messages coming off of it. So this is not just about balancing money. This is about balance in general, in the broader sense in your life. Pardon me. I think you've got a spiritual lesson right now, and you may not see it as spiritual, but everything, especially those things that challenge us in any form or shape, are spiritual lessons. So, you know, if you have a workmate that is irritable with you one day, that's an opportunity. That's a lesson, an opportunity. It's What do you do with that? It's not about that person. Yeah, they may be having a crummy day and taking it out on you. That's theirs to deal with. But what are you doing with it? How did that trigger you? What inside of you, how did you feel about that? That's the lesson you have to ask yourself. So obviously work and finding balance, that's a big spiritual lesson. That's a very, very big spiritual lesson. I struggle with that, doing this and still keeping things balanced with my family and my life and my friends. You know, I wish I had more hours in the day most days and a lot more energy to get there. So I feel like really you're close, but you're on the verge of a breakthrough, but you're not going to get it until you can find more balance for yourself, is what I'm hearing. It really is, and to that point, spirituality is something that's in our heart, and it's a belief. It's something that's outside of us. It's all those things. But it's also energy, and you need energy to process lessons and to deal with emotional issues. And those things are what elevate us spiritually, okay? So if you are depleted, and I keep feeling, like I said, this card is speaking louder than any of the cards here on the table right now. If you don't have balance and you are depleted physically, emotionally, sorry guys, then you're not going to progress to that next level. And I really feel like that's what's holding you back. I'm not sure if this has had anything to do with what you're really asking me, but this is the message I'm getting. So I'm feeling you need some self-care, some self-love, some self-empathy in particular, probably. I think you're a kind person and you're very generous to other people, but not always to yourself. And I think that's a missing piece for you also. In addition to this other, I think that you need to be a little bit more patient and kind to yourself. You don't always have to push through things. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say, no, I can't do that for you today. I need to take time for me today. Today is my healing day or my me day or whatever, however you want to deliver that message. But sometimes the kindest thing, the best thing you can do is to say no to other people who might make demands on you. And yes, a lack of energy, yes. And I'm very much this way. I am, believe me, I'm the pot calling the kettle black here, just so you know. I have a hard time saying no. I love to help people and do for people and share what I know with people and all of that, but you can't give what you don't have to give. So if you are depleted and you're empty and you're exhausted, what you're giving is not really quality anyway, and it's just going to deplete you more. So it's better to say, you know, I need to give myself a day off, you can say, guys, I've got a commitment for Saturday. Well, you don't have to tell them what it is. Your commitment can be to you. You don't have to tell them that, but the commitment is you're going to turn your phone off. You're going to run yourself a bubble bath. I don't know. Buy yourself some new leggings or whatever. You know, slippers for the winter. You know, go shop for that. Take yourself out to lunch. Come back, run yourself a bubble bath. Pour your nice glass of wine and put on a movie. I mean, you know, it could just be those simple things, but it's not letting anybody pull on your energy that day. You're loving on you, and we don't do that enough. We don't do that enough. So to me, that's the big message here for you through all of this. You've got really good things happening. You got good things coming. Again, I think you've got somebody coming back from the past here that we talked about that. But I just feel like this message, and particularly you ask about your spirituality, you're not going to be able to, in other words, energy, what I talked about a minute ago, everything is a frequency of energy, and so you can't evolve to that next level without you know, your energy has to be a certain frequency. And what I'm feeling is you're just a bit depleted right now and you're not able to do that. So if you start taking care of yourself, then that will happen. And I think you will, it's one of those things, my feel about this is you don't, you know, it's like somebody who is so used to being a certain way, you don't know what it feels like to feel better a certain way. So, just give you a classic example. This is a total sidebar story, but I have always suffered from a child with asthma, allergies, sinus problems, all that good stuff. Did the shots when I was a child, did that whole rigmarole, been doing it again later in life now. And I went to my doctor recently because I just felt like, and I've had COVID and the flu in this last month. So, as I said earlier, but something felt different. And I went to my doctor and I said, you know, Doc, I just feel like maybe I need an inhaler because I used to do those ages ago, years ago. Maybe I need an inhaler. I just don't feel sometimes like I can catch my breath. So, and this is relevant to your story. So what they do is they give you a little, it's a little handheld thing and you breathe into it and it tests your capacity for inhaling and exhaling. Then they give you this breathing treatment with some medicine in it, and then they come back and they do that test again. So they assess where you were before the medicine and where you are after the medicine. So after I did that, she came in with this really weird look on her face and I said, goodness, what is it? And she said, well, the typical amount of improvement after a breathing treatment is about 12%. She said, you improved 55%. So, but the point of my sharing that is I was so used to not having, you know, that regular capacity of breathing. I'd gotten accustomed to it. I didn't realize that that wasn't normal. That was normal for me. So that's what I'm trying to convey here is you probably think it's normal, and you're used to operating that way. But I just feel like Spirit is saying, take a step back, do some self-care days, and start learning to have good boundaries and saying no a little bit more. And you know, you can say to people, I'd love to do that for you or with you. I just can't do it now. Maybe next week. We'll see how my schedule looks now. You don't owe anybody an explanation about why you say no or having good, healthy boundaries. You really don't. I'm just giving you permission. You don't need, it's not mandatory. You can just say, you know, that's just not going to work for me this week. It's not going to work for me this week, but hopefully it will next week. So I'm encouraging you to maybe use that and have some good boundaries so you can start taking a little bit better care of yourself, because I think again, just your energy needs a little balancing. You need some self-love. So anyway, that is what I have for you. I hope that was helpful. And think about downsizing, because I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how freeing it is. So much less stuff to take care of. And I do know that sentimental stuff, oh goodness, pulls on your heartstrings. But let me tell you, one of the best exercises, I used to drive my kids crazy with this. And I did it it got to a point where I did it just to play with them, because I knew they didn't like it, but they were good spirited about it. They all laughed when I said it, but every time they'd come for the holidays or Christmas or whatever, and I would say, all right now guys, you need to look around the house and tell me what you want when I die, you know, because I don't know what you want or what you don't want. And they would, oh mom. So one day they came and I said, no, really, you need to tell me now, because I'm getting ready to downsize. And if you don't want it, it's going away. Well, it was interesting what they wanted and didn't want it. And most of it they didn't want. And so oftentimes these young people don't want all those things that we've been saving all those years that we think they'll want. They don't want it. And you're just carrying it around, you're dusting it every week, you're having to pay for a bigger house to put it in and all that stuff, and your kids probably don't want it. So if you hadn't had that conversation, that might be freeing for you to have with your kids and your family. You might be downsizing sooner than you think. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I really, really do. I appreciate you being here so much, and all of you, whoever has all been here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I reckon that's it for tonight. I've done my couple of readings. We had a fabulous discussion. If you guys didn't hear that discussion earlier with Tabitha, go back and the beginning of the video, because she was here right at the beginning. Go back. I think that was really interesting. I think many of you would find that interesting. It was, she had a situation going on, and I was talking about, and we were talking about spirits and this and that, and some, you know, it was just, if you like metaphysical kind of things, it was very interesting. So I encourage you to go back and from the beginning here and follow that. Might be interesting. You are very, very welcome. It was my pleasure, and I think that's it. I think I'm done for the night. I have done my free readings, and we had a great discussion, and I appreciate y'all very, very much for being here. I might come back tomorrow if I can to summon the energy and my voice didn't give out on me. And if so, I'll see you guys then. If not, y'all have a great evening, a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.